This episode is sponsored by Agent CRM. If you're in sales and tired of paying 3, 4, or 5 different companies for your email, CRM, funnels, phone, follow-up automation, check out Agent CRM. It's an all-in-one tool that combines all that you need to reach out, nurture, and close your clients. They've got weekly support calls so you can get up and running in no time. Get a free 14-day trial by going to the link below in the show notes. Hello, everyone. This is Dan Wynn with the Intentional Entrepreneur Podcast. We have a special guest with us today. He is the founder of Engage AI, a conversation co-pilot that remembers conversation across multiple channels to augment conversations in both virtual and real life. Since its release in January 2023, over 30,000 users worldwide has been using it to break the ice and engage with their prospects. So taking the learnings from implementing Engage AI, he also assists and shares learned lessons with enterprises to embrace and incorporate generative AI and large language models in their business. I do want to welcome to the show Jason Tan.
Thank you so much for having me. It looks like we have grown a little bit since we last submitted the info to you. We actually have got 50,000 users around the world now. So super excited about the growth, but I can't wait to share what we got, what we do. But also more importantly is how SMB owner can actually benefit from it, because that's the whole intention that we build it in the first place. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. AI is a very hot topic these days, but there's lots of noise, there's lots of information, and it can be overwhelming to people and potential users of AI. It's like, how can I apply so many of these things into my business? But before we kind of get into the topic of using AI with social media, can you share a little bit about your journey and then how you got to where you are today?
Absolutely. So I came to Australia about 20 years ago, and being the first generation immigrant, you could imagine that the challenges of like integrating into the culture, and especially for an engineer like myself, it was even harder. And true, I came here with uni, and I stay here for work, working with actually to do the pricing and also design the system for the insurance pricing optimization system. And over the year, as I turned into a business person, start running my own businesses, equally, that was like the second challenge that I start facing, especially in the B2B business, because I didn't never realize that B2B business is so difficult, where it is about building relationship, it's about understanding people, it's about understanding what they need, rather than just go straight into the technical challenges. So it took me a really, really long time to understand that the important to understand and remember all the different things that people say to me, read between the line, the nuances of different things, that how people are sharing those information with me, and how often I should use some of those private information that people have already shared with me to build relationships. So that was really the challenges that I had to go through, try to get to where I do right now, which is especially the last couple of years, which is running a boutique consulting businesses, providing the data and AI for enterprises. And as I was having those challenges, I equally realized that, wow, apparently I'm not the only one, especially there are many technical SMB owner facing exactly the same challenges. And especially on the last 2 years, I realized that, well, perhaps we can use technology to be able to help them. And that came Engage AI. So the idea of the Engage AI, in terms of the MVP, we can talk about the grand vision later. But the MVP itself is very, very simple. Commenting for attention on social media. So just think about it, right? We all try to get the attention of our prospect. We try to understand them. We try to get a little bit of their time, so we have the opportunity to stay on top of mind and the opportunity to sell them our product. The
Mhm.
problem that in the traditional world is that we often ask people to go out for coffee for catch up, but all Zoom meeting in the last couple of years. But that can be only so many times you could ask them for Zoom meeting or
Mhm.
coffee catch up. It just doesn't work, especially if they are still cold. So commenting on for attention is a proven strategy. What that basically means is that especially when the your prospect or your client are making a post on the social media,
Mhm.
go and comment, go and make an insightful engagement with them. Say something really unique so that and
Mhm.
engage with them. I mean, nobody likes no engagement, especially when
Mhm.
you are there to
Mhm.
support them. When you do that again and again and again, they will remember you. And that is the whole
Mhm.
strategy of AI, sorry, commenting for attention. What we do is basically we put the AI into the hand of the technical SMB owner who's often
Mhm.
struggle knowing what to say, or who sometimes are concerned of what they are saying, or they are worried they are saying the right thing. And we are just making it easier for the technical SMB owner. So that is what we do, and that is how my personal and my professional background got me to doing what I do right now. And I'm hoping to be able to do more of people like myself.
So before we kind of get into the nitty gritty, can you share with those who are not super familiar with AI, like what specifically is generative AI and what is large language models and how and why do we need to know these particular words when using artificial intelligence?
Absolutely. So before the ChatGPT, which consists of both of those technology, comes along, we actually have got AI for a very, very long time. I mean, think about Siri on our phone is an AI. Think about the some of the fancy model that banks use to detect of the credit fraud, to detect fraud. Those are already AI. We have got AI for decades now, but generative AI is a different breed, which is only the one that came out over the last couple of years. Generative AI basically is about generating something completely new simply by prompting. And large
Mhm.
language model basically is trained by trillions and trillions of parameter and trillions of data set that they found from the internet. And with that, you are simply be able with enough concise prompting where you are talking about um, especially like say for example, if I want to ask, hey, tell me about Dan Nguyen. If I just say Dan Nguyen, it won't be precise enough because that could be a few people who have the similar first name and last name. But if I
Mhm.
specifically saying that Dan Nguyen from California, he run a podcast, he is a legal profession, with all of those details, generative AI would be able to go to the database of the training data set to be able to come out something and write me based on whatever other prompt that I do. So Gen AI and large language model is a newer technique, especially really, really powerful in terms of the unstructured data. Early on, I talked about we have had AI for decades already. A lot of the
Mhm.
AI that we have had in the past are really trained on the structured data, where the database is in your classical table structure, whereas
Mhm.
the Gen AI and also the large language model, they are really good in terms of the unstructured data. And that opened up a
Mhm.
new whole way and a whole new world about how we actually can make use of the AI. And that is really what is
Mhm.
exciting ahead, the future. I think this could be one of those technology that
Mhm.
we are seeing a major technological shift in terms of like how
Mhm.
we use software as well.
So let's talk about specifically, using because you talked about earlier prospecting on social media using generative AI. So, obviously, um, social media is one of the ways to build relationships
Mm,
online. And you mentioned a lot of it has moved on to online during because of COVID. And while some people are still doing the traditional ways, meeting or coffee, social media obviously is not going away. But how do why is commenting important? Because you mentioned a little bit earlier. Yeah, obviously no one wants no engagement. I think the social media companies do a good job um, accessing our dopamine hits, and we're looking for the notifications. But can you talk a little bit about, you know, aside from all that, how we can use, AI to make authentic relationships despite using AI?
Yes, yes, I'm glad that you bring that up. But before that, I just want to bring that one point is that nobody one knows engagement. I think is really the human nature, and we are simply tapping into the human nature, and I think that is very
Mhm,
very important. A lot of time we do all of these things because the block A say that we should do this, block B we say we should do this, and I'm sure some of those strategy work. But I think after one of the things that I have learned over the years as I am turning from engineer into a business person, I think it's so important to understand what works and what doesn't work in terms of the
mhm,
human nature.
mhm,
Nobody want no attention. Nobody want no personalization. The fact is, sometimes even we know that people are sucking up to us, despite it is so obvious, we are still enjoying it because we all want attention and we all want personalization. And
mhm,
that is really the fundamental and the key in prospecting and in building relationship in the B2B. What we are basically doing though is that we are bringing that into the online world, into the social media channel. I mean, all other channel is still working. All I'm saying is
mhm,
this is one of the channel that we are building. This is one of the channel that we have found to be super useful. So what that basically means in terms of the prospecting, right, is that I think a lot of people are already using the Gen AI for the marketing copywriting blog, and that
mhm,
is good in terms of like building the inbound strategy where people read your blog and they come to you.
mhm,
That definitely should is worthwhile continue building. But in the B2B business, you equally want to do a lot of the outbound. Outbound
mhm,
basically
mhm,
getting in touch with people and then building the relationship, getting to know them, and keep yourself on top of mind, and hopefully that
mhm,
is opportunity you can sell. You are the good fit that you can sell the service to them. And one way, commenting for attention, coming back to
mhm,
that. Before we talk about the commenting for attention, I think on LinkedIn, Dan and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are already having this problem. You have got all of these people wanting to connect with you, and after they connect with you, the first thing that they do is that, hey Dan, I love what you do. Uh, let's book a time so that I can understand what you do. Here's my calendar link. Book a time. Dude, I mean, I have no problem people selling things to me. I mean, we all have something to sell. But
mhm,
if you are in the B2B, the product the product or the services that you are selling often is like tens of thousands, if not few thousand, or even hundreds of $1,000s, right?
mhm.
Nobody is going to accept a cold email or sorry a cold messages and then say take my money. It doesn't
Yeah,
work that way. It
yeah.
doesn't work that way. And I think that is a fundamental problem of this industry. A lot of
Mhm,
people are using the wrong strategy, right? So the
mhm,
idea of the commenting for attention is, you know what, before I reach out to connect, or maybe I already connect, before I send you a messages and say, then book a time in my calendar to buy things for me. I actually just try to build a relationship for you. It's no different.
mhm,
Like, you know, if we attend both the same networking event, if we are at the stage speaking for a topic, and all I do is put up my hand and asking a good question, and when you finish talking, I meet you at the I meet you behind the stage and ask you a few questions, and then hopefully we will bring the build a relationship there. So that is exactly the same idea. I using the AI to ask question, using the AI to
mhm,
make comment whenever you are
mhm,
posting your thought leadership, using AI to say something. And why we use AI? Because if you don't want to be one of those persons saying that thank you for sharing, great post, I love it, because none of those things are going to make you stand out, because you could see that
yeah,
there are 300
yeah.
people on the post saying exactly the same thing. You want to say a
Mhm,
little bit
mhm,
more, but sometimes it takes a while to figure out something, the right thing to say. AI is
Mhm.
there to draft the comment and where
Mhm.
people will still have the personal touch to add or remove something and
Mhm.
use that as a way to help them to get over the right to block do comment. When you do that again and again and again and again, and no one else is doing it, then would you have a look who is this person who often come and comment on you whenever you post?
Mhm. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
really the whole idea.
Yeah.
Commenting for
Yeah.
attention. And once
Yeah.
you have enough of that attention, then maybe, especially even if they are responding to you in the comment that you make, that is a time you could potentially start a conversation and just continuing talking about the same topic. That is how it works.
Yeah. So obviously um with AI, there's lots of potential for automation. And at the same time, right, fostering authentic conversations does require some personalization. So, and I have this issue in my own business too, right? We use videos to do outreach or to maintain a relationship with clients. But what would you say? How do you strike a balance between using automation, but also giving that personalization so you are creating authentic relationships?
That is a really good question. I am glad that you brought it up. So I think one of the things that at least what we do is that we don't fully automate the entire process. We actually have a lot of requests asking us, can we automate the commenting entirely? And so that they can just schedule and then they can just go to
Yeah.
sleep. And
Yeah.
by the time they come back, everything is done already. We actually have lots and lots of these requests. And I just got someone reaching out and say, if you could do that, I could bring you $10,000 per month guaranteed. And I was like, oh, man, I really, really like to do your business, but that is going to go against the principle and the value and
Hmm.
also the product that we are building. So we are saying is, and what we are championing is to put human in the loop. And I think that is how you strike the balance, where
Hmm.
you always have the human in the loop to review, to add your personal touch, to add the additional insight uh, on the output provided by the AI, on the
Hmm.
output provided by some of the automation software. I think that is probably the best way for us to strike the balance because
Hmm.
it is no different like how we use AI to write the blog copy, right? If
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think the world is going to have two different type of people, one who will completely rely on the AI to do everything and then hope for the best. The other one is going to use AI as a tool to assist them
Hmm.
so that they can do the job a little bit faster. And I actually believe that the second group of the people is the one that's going to win more because they still have the opportunity to bring their authentic voice. They still have the
Hmm.
opportunity to add their personal touch. And AI is simply a tool to help them to get there faster.
So one of I personally actually, if I didn't need it for my business, I would not use social media because I think, right,
I
I would try because it's so distracting for me. So it like
can imagine.
right? So, can you share, some real world applications or, success stories from your company that you've deployed AI and has obviously, I'm not sure how you measure, relationships, but can you, were you able to, at the end of the day, we want more sales, right? So have you been able to increase sales for your clients by them using these
Absolutely.
uh,
So, I want to break that into two different parts. The first
okay.
part is on where possible, you don't want to be on social media because it takes up a lot of time. I
Hmm.
agree. And especially, I think on LinkedIn, sometimes you go to LinkedIn, they just don't ever show you the people that you really care about.
Hmm.
They just show you whoever they want to show you because of the way that the system design. So in there, we actually have one of the feature within our system where you could actually tell the system to say, hey, these are exactly the people that I am interested. So what we do then is we basically go out and then check whether they post or not. So rather than you spending the time scrolling through the news feed endlessly, or maybe you have to search for that particular person, that 50 people that you really care about and check whether they post or not. We do all of those hard work for you and then we bring it back
Mm.
to our system. So when you log into our web platform, web application, you will see exactly all of those people and then who has posted. Or all you do
Mhm.
is just click a link and it will take you directly to that post, and that is how you engage. So that way you can do that, allow you to two things. Number one, you're not wasting time. Number two,
Mm.
you are super focused on the people that you really care about. Now, to your
Mm.
point that how this has been helping our use cases or case study, how it has been useful for the our client. We have people who are in the lead generation businesses. We have the people who are in the LinkedIn service provider businesses,
Mhm.
and we have people, a lot of people in the SMB. They really just follow exactly the framework that I just share with
Mm.
you and the
Mhm.
listener earlier. Commenting for attention. When you do that again and
Mhm.
again, and you want to use that to break the eye, and then once that is broken the eye, you will then want to say, you want to start a conversation. And as you continue the conversation, you just talk about the things that they have already talked about rather than go straight in to make a sales or book a time, right? So you just continue saying
Mhm.
that, hey, love Dan, what you were posting about the obstacle or also the things that you should watch out when you're starting a company from the legal perspective. Uh,
Mhm.
really love that. Then you just ask simple question like, do you write that often? That's how you build
Mhm.
relationship. And
Mhm.
you then you try to, just like how you would go to the networking event, and when you meet someone, continue that conversation in a very natural setting, understand, and then hopefully try to understand the challenges that they may have and whether your product and services can help them or not. And that's how you start conversation. That's how you try to move to a Zoom meeting, and then how you suggest that you may be able to help them. If you are already commenting for 10 times or however time, they are still not giving you any responses, they are not looking at your profile, they are not giving responding to your comment. Often what we encourage people is, I think it's time to drop those prospects because they are just simply not going
Mhm.
to do business with you for all sort of reasons.
Mhm.
So that is how we are helping, and that is how people are using our product to build
Mhm.
relationship and also to start a sales conversation.
Yeah. Let me ask you one. Is maybe it's a technical question, especially in public postings, LinkedIn, Facebook, where you're entering conversations that someone posts a comment, people post, and then you comment, right? Obviously, that's part of fostering the relationships, and you probably know the algorithms better than I do. But can you talk a little bit as to maybe the timing when when is it better? And if you're trying to keep, conversations going, whether it is with a poster or whether just to keep yourself in front of people, how much time should you kind of wait in between responding?
The good news is 99% of the posts on LinkedIn get very little engagement. That is just a reality. And I think that is
Yeah.
two reasons for it. Number one, a lot of time the topic, uh, the content on LinkedIn is very dry, is professional, is education. Unlike Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, where it could be some cooking video, some joke video,
Yeah.
comedy, where it's a lot
Yeah.
easier. So I think
Mhm.
number one, for that reason, and also um, because often people deem LinkedIn as a professional setting, they are a lot more careful of what they say.
Mhm.
especially when all their colleague, their boss is in there. So for those two reasons, 99% of the posts or the content are often have no or very few engagement. What that means is, as long as you are the one of the first of the first few of the people to engage, and you
Mhm.
will be the first of the few people to engage. When you do that long enough, you will already start getting attention. When you see the post where it had hundreds or thousands of people commenting, often there are only two reasons. Number one, they are Bill Gates or they are Elon Musk. Well, Elon Musk is not on LinkedIn. They are Bill Gates, or they
Uh-huh.
are CEO of the largest bank in US. Those people, they will get lots and lots of attention because it's a social pyramid, right? They are at the top of the
Mhm.
pyramid. Number two, they are very likely to be the influencer
Mhm.
who have group of friends supporting them. I often would stay away commenting from those people because your comment is just get flooded in in a sea of messages, in a sea of comment, and they probably won't even notice. So I stay away from those people. And a lot of time for us in the B2B business, we, especially if you're in the SMB business, you're not really making a large deal, right? You're not selling them like $20 million of the software,
Yeah.
and you're not dealing with the CEO in doing that sort of deal. You are really just
Mhm.
dealing with the VP. You are doing of the organization for that deal, for that sort of deal, like for tens of thousands of dollars. Like it or not, the VP, they often, despite their title, they still not getting enough engagement. So that's why number one, you will be often be the first of the few people to comment. If they respond to you, I would continue just to respond to that comment. Start that as a conversation. Start as it is where
Mhm.
it is. If they continue to do that in multiple posts, then when that is the right time, move the conversation into the inbox. Once you move the conversation into the inbox, and we all know how messy the inbox can be, continue to move the conversation into email or a Zoom meeting because that is where people will spend a lot more of their time. Where a lot of those messages they will pay a little bit more attention because they
Mhm.
still get spam email, but at least they have lesser spam email compared to the LinkedIn inbox. So that is
Mhm.
how I would do it. Right, I target the VP because of the size of the deal. You will be the very first of the few people who will be commenting. If they respond to you,
Mhm.
continue the
Mhm.
conversation over there. When it is the right time, move the conversation into the inbox. And when the time is right, move the conversation into email or Zoom meeting where there is less amount.
Mhm. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much. We're with Jason Tan with Engage AI, a company that helps businesses use generative AI on social media and fostering authentic conversations. Give us some parting thoughts about if a company is maybe on the fence about using a product like yours. Can you share some parting words?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I would just go back to what I said earlier, which is I don't think that the world will be replaced by AI. And I
Mhm.
don't think that people who use, I don't think AI will take over the world, but I think the people who use AI will win. So if you are
Mhm.
not using AI in one way or another to help you to get to your goal faster, I think you will be probably losing that competitive advantage to the people who are using it. And the other thing also to think about the AI though is that in the past, AI is only reserved for the big boys in the town, i.e., the large organization where they can afford to employ hundreds of engineers to build a system. That was what happened. But with a lot of the product that this day that we're seeing in the software as a service world, they become so much more affordable now. I mean, ChatGPT
Mhm.
is on ChatGPT Plus is only $20 a month, and AI is only $30 a month. So these things are very affordable. Use it as
Mhm.
a tool to help you to get to your goal faster. Don't fully
Mhm.
rely on it. And if you are not, people are going to get to their goal a lot faster than you do. So that is really my parting thought for the
All
answer.
right. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and thoughts on generative AI. Right now, we're going to get into the lightning round of questions. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, just answer the first thing that pops in your head. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Go for it. Let's do
All
it.
right. All right. Who do you look up to?
Who do I look up to? Oh, that's a really good question. I really like Lee Kuan Yew. So he is the founding father or founding prime minister of this little country called Singapore. I myself, I
Mhm.
am Malaysian, but I thought that
Mhm.
what he has done for a small nation with zero resources is remarkable to where it is right now. And often I think
Mhm.
about what would he do, and it's about being pragmatic. So that's really one of the person that I look at.
All right. What's your favorite business book?
Ah, good question. What is my favorite business book? I probably would say is the book by Robert Keeney. So it's about understand the human nature and
Mhm.
how to understand human. Uh,
Mhm.
because a lot of time, whether you are in B2B or even in fact in B2C business, a lot of time is about understanding the people, understanding human,
Mhm.
and how you can help them, and how do you help them, and various strategy. I think that is probably one of the book that has been really helped me a lot.
What's the best business advice you've ever received?
Focus on sales. That is
So.
probably uh, the most useful advice I have received, and especially someone who is an engineer. I remember
Mhm.
the first couple of years when I turn from engineer to business person. A lot of time, I just want to focus on the engineering side. I just want to focus on the product side and continuing to build and build and build, thinking that if you build the best product, people will come. But unfortunately, the reality is that's not necessarily that case, right? You have to find way. You have to convince people. You have to find way to get your product in front of them. You have to find way to convince them to pay with their money. And I would say focus on sales is really one of the most best advice I have received.
All right. Are you familiar with the term pioneers get arrows in their backs?
No, tell me a bit more about it. No.
Okay, so it's kind of a entrepreneur saying or thought. I would say it's basically whoever is the first mover into a particular space, uh, pretty much dies, right? Because they're the first mover. They're the first ones to do these things, but there's a lots of unknowns, right? So pioneers, people who chart into uncharted or go into unknown territories, they get arrows in the backs, and it's actually the second, second movers that are really thriving.
Yeah.
So how do you know, like as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, how do you know when you know that you might be a pioneer and the idea you have or business idea you have will get you arrows in your back, or it's such a disruptive idea that if you don't do anything, your opportunity is going to be lost.
I think it probably comes down to speaking to your user. I
Mm,
really like what you were saying that the pioneer get the error, and we also have seen so many examples where
mm,
the second mover actually takes the entire market. Classic example would be your Google in the search
mhm,
engine, and then Facebook in the social media. None of them are the first mover, But equally, I think they also done one thing remarkably well, which is talk to their users so often
Hmm.
and understanding the real problem and continue to innovate. And I think that is probably the only way that if you are the pioneer, if you are the first mover, and we equally know that there are people who are the first mover are still winning. And I think the only way to find out whether you are first mover or second mover, the only way to find out whether you are doing the right thing, you are heading to the right direction. Are you solving the problem of what your user that you are serving is to continue to speak with them. And I think that's
Hmm.
the only way. Continue speaking with them, talk with them, understanding their real challenges and continue to the direction and providing them the service that you could solve the problem there. I think that's probably the only way to really know you are solving a real problem or not. And I think that's probably the only way to do, no matter when, regardless you're a first mover or second mover in the industry.
If you could do one thing over again, what would it be?
Uh, Good question. I would probably still say learn more about human and
Mm.
focus on sales. It is a very very difficult topic. It's not a topic. It's not a topic that you can easily master.
Mhm.
And I'm still learning. I would say those are the things that I would still continue to do it again. But I wish I would do it earlier.
Are you familiar with the term 3 feet from gold?
No.
Okay, so the story, the metaphor is a gold prospector buys a piece of land because he heard there's gold in there. So he buys all the equipment too, and he digs, 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 does not hit any gold. Finally, he gives up and he sells it to the next guy, and that person only digs 3 feet, and he hits a large range of gold. So the question is, as a entrepreneur, how do you know when you might be just 3 feet from gold? How do you know when to pivot in your business?
I really think that comes down to two things. The first thing first would be hopefully you focus enough on the sale, and the sales traction is giving you the assurance, knowing that you are heading to the right direction. And if you are
Mhm.
not getting any sales, hopefully you will have other metrics that you will be able to use it as a metric, as a guiding point to make sure that you are heading to the right direction. And then second
Mhm.
thing is continue speaking with your user. Hopefully you are asking the right question, knowing so
Mhm.
that you really dig deep to get the inside out. But I am thinking it's really either the sales and other metric, and then validate some of those hypotheses by speaking with the user.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge in your business today?
My biggest challenge in the business today is getting enough people to do what we want to do and also helping us to working towards our grand vision. We are bootstrapping,
Mhm.
is not funded, uh, so which means we have a small team and we have limited resources. I
Mhm.
think what we do on LinkedIn is sufficient for now, but the real money and the real power comes down to when we are able to do that to all the digital channel that where we are using for communication. So social is one of
Mhm.
the channel. Email is another channel. We have probably have
Mhm.
multiple email account, personal and work email. We
Mhm.
have Slack, we have Microsoft Teams, we have SMS, we have WhatsApp. We have so many different channels, and
Mhm.
sometimes remembering where which of those channels where the prospect or the customer share the information with us is a real challenge already. Let alone
Mhm.
the details of those information that we are searching for. When we are able to connect all of those channels into one, we are going to be able to do a lot more. So let's say if I'm meeting you next month, before I go to the meeting, I want to prepare for my meeting and I want going to search for all the information that you have ever shared with me prepare for that meeting. It'll make my life easier. But given that we, as a bootstrapping SaaS company, we have a bit of challenge in terms of like having enough resources to be able to build up. And so that is probably the biggest challenge that we have got.
What is the best thing you spent $100 or less on that has greatly improved your business life or personal life? Now, of course, you're in Australia, so exchange rates might be a little bit different, but that that is my question.
That has got to be on the book that I have recently bought. So, other than understanding the human by Robert Guinea, recently I came across a book called Growth Marketing, and
Hmm.
cannot quite remember the author, who the author is, but growth marketing and a lot of the growth marketing technique or the strategy and the thought process that is shared behind the book in the book is actually very very deep. It's not about one of those
Mhm.
book where they try to share with you the tactic here, tactic there, but it's more about the process and the framework, but also the
Mhm.
thought process about deploying all of those framework and how to deploy them in building up the business. So I think that has been a really really good book that it helped me to change the way that I see marketing, and especially I'm not a marketer by
Mhm.
training. That has been super helpful to understand how to market with limited budget.
Finally, you lose everything in your business. The only thing you have is your computer, your mobile phone, and an internet connection. How do you rebuild your business in 30 days?
That is a very good question. I think the first thing that I would do is I would actually go and find a job and find a job in a field or in a role that I am being known as the expert with, as an expert. I would also
Mhm.
reach out to my contact or my network to find that particular role where they already know being the expert in that particular field. The reason why I'm saying that is because reaching out to your contact and your network where you already have the relationship is going to be easier than just applying job on the job board. Find the role where I
Mhm.
am being the expert. That basically means that not only I can survive in the coming months or the coming year, I equally will be able to thrive and also probably make more money in that sort of role. I think number one thing to do those two things is because you need to make sure that you are able to survive first. You need to make sure that you are
Mhm.
able to
Mhm.
put the food on the table before talking about any other grand vision. So if you focus on
Mhm.
doing all of those things, when the right opportunity comes again, you will be able to make another comeback. So that is really one thing that I would do. Go to your network, find a role that you are known as an expert, and then
Mhm.
build your career from there, so that you can put the food on the table. And then hopefully, when the timing is right, you can start another business, or perhaps you can work together with
Mhm.
that employer to do the business together.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason Tan, founder of Engage AI. If our listeners want to reach out to you and learn more about your company, what's the best way to get in contact
Uh,
with you?
Check out the website called engage-ai.co. So engage-ai.co. So that is really the best way. Or otherwise, if you just go to search to Google and search Engage AI Chrome extension or Engage AI, you will be able to see us on the top of the search result.
All right. We'll put those links in the show notes. Thank you again for hanging out with us and hope we can get talks again soon.
Well, thank you so much for
All
having
right.
me. That really
All right.
lots of tough question
All
and
right.
great question. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Loved it.